Hello everybody, welcome. This is Woolrig, and we are on episode 27 of Infinity Evolved Normal Mode. I don't think I showed off the armor last time, did I? Looks pretty cool. It's like seriously badass. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, I want to do some work on this armor. So the Phantom Bridge is nice, but it's kind of annoying because I don't like having to turn off all of my all the features of my armor, like my feather falling, for example. So let's take the Phantom Bridge off. And in order to do that, we are going to need some ritual stones. Fortunately, I already prepared a little bit ahead of time. So let's go over here and let's make it. If you don't remember the Phantom Bridge, it's this thing. You know, it's incredibly useful as a kind of a layman's type of flight, but in order to turn it off, I need to turn off all of the features of my armor and apparently get stuck in things. Which among those are the feather falling, wherever that's at. Where's my feather? There it is. The air sigil gives me feather falling. So, except I forgot one thing that I need to grab. Let's head back over here. You know, it's a useful thing, but just kind of a nuisance. And really, I don't get anything extra that I wouldn't already have if I just used the sigil the normal way. So I will continue to use the Phantom Bridge. I will just use it in the sigil form instead of having it bound to my armor. So let's see what it takes to take it off of my armor. In order to do that, we are going to need a ritual. And if we look through our book here, we want the ritual of Unbinding. So this is what it looks like. Of course, the Master Stone in the middle, and various stones around the edges. Let's just go ahead and, I don't know, let's put it down here. This was the outline of the Ritual of Binding, so we'll go ahead and just kind of copy it a little bit. Looks like 2 out over here, there, there. So that should be those 4 pieces, and then looks like it's another 2 blocks out from that one. So 1, 2, so maybe that one. Something like that. Oh, that one's gonna be water. Okay. Something like that. And it looks like the corner pieces here and here. Hopefully this is close to right. If it's not, oh well, not a big deal. Let's give it a shot. And let's see if that does it. So I've got my divining rod. Of course, right click, shift right click, and shift left click allow you to go forward and back. So I've got it set to the ritual of unbinding. And when I mouse over it, I see it tells me I need a total of 32 stones. Fortunately, I've got 36. So let's go ahead and hit our master ritual stone right here in the middle. And we should start placing stones. See that we went down to all but 9. So I had a few extras, but I should still get less than 9. Maybe this one needs to come out one further. No. It's missing the the ones here. So there's one space between the edge of these guys and that one. Yeah, so it should be out there. Oh, there it started placing. I don't think I'm gonna have enough sand to put this down. Yeah, because that's gonna go way down there. Oh, haha! I have just enough. Perfect. Cool. All right. So that's the ritual, and of course we activate the ritual. I think it's going to take something like 5,000 LP to activate, which we have more than enough in our soul network. And then we're going to take there it is, Sigil of the Phantom Bridge. So you can see the little particle effects there. That tells us the ritual is activated, just like with the ritual of binding. So get kind of aggressive for a second. And it gave us all the items back. So there's our sigil, there's our blood shard, and there's our filled sockets. So we'll go ahead and turn off that, and we see, oh, the sigil's on. There we go. Jumping around just fine. So we've got to make the armor again. That was on our legs. So let's go ahead and make the leggings. Remake them. Except I forgot. Hey, let's turn this on. I forgot the armor forge. One piece I'm gonna need. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. Because now I really can do this. I'll go way up here and make sure that this is not suppressing. Perfect. Haha. Feather falling. Fantastic. Okay. And you know what? We'll just make these guys. Right click. Binds it to me and equips it at the same time. So, there we go. We have a ritual of unbinding if ever we need it, which we probably will, because I don't have anything slotted on my legs now, which I can put stuff on there, but I'm going to have to disassemble them in order to put in another sigil. I'm not really sure what sigil I want to use right now, so I will just choose to not use any. There is, let's see, the things I could add. I can get, if we go and look at the sigils, I could use the sigil of water. That would actually give me water breathing. It's not a bad thing. Lava gives me lava protection, fire protection. Void sigil actually protects me from void damage, which is pretty hard to come by. The only time you really run into it is in a void world, or if you fall out the bottom of the world. So I could survive falling out the bottom of the world, well, as long as I have LP in my network. The air sigil we have, that's feather falling. The fast miner, I can bind that, and that'll just give me a perpetual fast mining. I'm not really interested in that. That one doesn't do anything. Haste, I don't think does anything. Sigil of holding, we haven't really looked at any of these sigils in too much detail, so they're pretty self-explanatory for the most part. But the sigil of holding, like it says, it allows you to hold several sigils, so it's a way of putting several in one, which is not a bad idea. Can we make it? I think we can. Look at that. Fantastic. Cool. So now if I take my sigils here, let's grab these guys, and we shift right click it, and we can put these sigils in there, and then when I right click on them, there we go. if I hold shift and hit the scroll wheel, it allows me to scroll through them. Because of course if I shift right click while I have, you know, say the Phantom Bridge up, or if I just right click on it, it just turns it on and off. So that's the Sigil of Holding. So what do we put in there? Phantom Bridge, Green Grove, and Divination. So let's go ahead and turn that off. And we see we've got quite a bit of LP. Our altar's empty. So we must be... Yeah, we've got kind of a slowdown in our spawning here. Oh, you know what? I bet I turned it off, I think. I think I've got it turned off entirely. Which is fine. I've got a good stockpile of LP right now. But anyway, that is taking the Phantom Bridge off of my armor. The next thing I want to do is get back at the end of last episode. We were getting ready to do some auto spawning. And I've gone ahead and done some preparing. So I've got a couple of rooms built here, spaced out a little bit. And in here, in this room, I've got the auto spawner with nothing in it. I've got it placed up, you know, one block off the floor like that, because this is the actual dimensions. This room is the dimensions that the auto spawner will spawn entities inside of. So I want to make sure that they're not spawning outside of the room. I've also cleared out some space and have started running power cables. I've stopped them here because in order to power this, if we look at our auto spawner, we need a few things. We need energy, and then we need essence, along with, of course, our captured Enderman we got. The essence is going to come from grinders. So as part of this, we're going to automate the spawning and killing of monsters. And so I've got this space here. I'm going to make a grinder, and a grinder basically just kills mobs and produces mob essence when it does that. So I'm going to have a block here that needs both power, and it's going to output items, and it's also going to contain liquid. So what I would like to do, because the auto spawner needs the essence, which is a liquid, that's a tank, it needs to come in here. But I want to do it with one pipe. And I'm going to stick with thermodynamics for now, because thermodynamics has a pipe that will be very useful for exactly that. And it is called, it's a type of fluid duct. So if we look for our fluid ducts, we see we've got our tempered or a temperate fluid duct, which can only transfer basically water, anything that's not hot or cold. So water, blood, anything but lava and like cryothium or something. But if we go over here, we see we've got these flux-plated fluid ducts. And what that means, if we hit shift, we can transfer both RF and fluids, which is perfect. It's exactly what we want. So we need that. We need to make some hardened fluid ducts first, and then we wrap them with signalum or electrum. Actually both, it looks like. So let's see how we're doing for signalum. We have one. Electrum, we have a few. Okay. So we need to make some more signalum. And then the hardened fluid duct requires Invar. We'll just use the opaque ones for now. So Invar and lead, which I think I have a fair... Oh yeah, I got plenty of Invar. I made a bunch of that off camera because I thought I might need some. The signalum is copper, silver, and redstone. So that's not too terribly difficult. We can get that fired up in the alloy smeltery up here. This guy, which we should automate at some point. I'll get around to that. But for now, I will just go ahead and get some signalum crafted up. Okay, I think I should have just about everything I need now to do this. So we're going to start off with about that many hardened fluid ducts. We take those and we need to make flux. Let's just look up our fluid ducts again. It's the flux plated fluid duct. So I can take 3 with 1 signalum and 1 electrum. So electrum, signalum, oops, that one there, and 3 of those guys. There we go. That ought to do. And so now, if we put these like so, these will actually connect. So that should actually be getting, you see power coming through there. This guy was already full of power because I had him connected up prior. But you see that these will couple together because the fluid ducts, or the, the redstone flux. We will put that there. And we will go over here, and I'll explain this one in a second. So the first room is going to have an auto spawner in it, and this is going to be programmed to spawn Endermen. Oh, or anything really. I'll be able to change it out, for whatever I want. But I'm going to start with Endermen because I would like to get a good stockpile of Ender Pearls going. This room is going to be just an empty room that I'm hoping I can get aggressive mobs to spawn in. So I'll turn out all the lights, I'll make it dark in here, close it off, and I will put a grinder right there. And the hope is that I should be able to produce enough mobs in this room to make enough extra essence to start spawning the Endermen in this room. And then this grinder that I'll put here will return essence as well, as just kind of an extra thing. So let's get a couple of grinders built. Grinder. Needs some plastic, a couple of machine frames, which we can make like so. Machine frames. I should teach my auto crafting system how to make those eventually. They're pretty handy. We're going to make 2 of everything because, of course, we need 2 mob spawners. Invar swords. I have a load of Invar, so that shouldn't be a problem. The plastic I might be a little short on plastic. I am. So we're going to need to take some resin, and if we remember, we can turn our resin into rubber, and then from rubber we turn it into raw plastic, and then from raw plastic we can kind of go from there. There it is. So we can smelt it, and that gets us 1 rubber. But if we put it through another machine called an extractor, that actually gives us 3. And maybe we'll do that next. Maybe, yeah, we'll do that next. I'll just go ahead and smelt this stuff for now. As we can see, we've got, I've been kind of collecting resin from my trees outside, so that's where that's coming from. And the rubber we will just put in this hopper here. It's not, oops, not that one. It's not the most efficient process, I understand, but right now I am just hoping to get things made. This guy's running, this guy's running. You know what? I will bet that I am exceeding the capacity of a leadstone pipe. Because leadstone flux ducts can push 200 RF a tick. If we notice, this guy's draining. This guy can only output 200 RF a tick. Because he's drawing... he shouldn't be draining. Why is he draining? He should not be. Oops. Let's take a look on the back of this. There we go. I just had the interfaces programmed wrong. I had the input and output reversed. Okay. Replace that. Throw those things in there. Cool. So we should have some raw plastic being made. We do. Good, good. And if I can spell it correctly, there's our grinder. The only other thing is I probably need some books, which I should be able to make with some stencils. Blank patterns, I mean. There we go. Let's grab some books. Oh, I need paper. That's always something. Always, always something. I feel like all I do is just craft things all day. Okay, now we should be good to go. Where did my tin gears go? Oh, you know what? I made those for the machine frames, but not the grinder. That's why. There we go. 1, 2. Perfect. The way that Mind Factory Reloaded machines work is that they are on by default, and a redstone signal will turn them off. So that's just something to keep in mind. And as you saw, when I placed it down, it actually places it down with the output towards you. This guy's filling up. Perfect. Yep, powered up and going. Cool. And of course, this is going to put just a constant drain on my reactor here. So eventually, you know, I'm going to want to be able to turn things off. But for now, I think we're doing okay. Still got a pretty good stockpile of fuel. The reactor outputs cyanite, which, you know, we'll get around to doing something with that eventually. But to start with, I need to get this room here spawning mobs. And let me grab one thing. So the mob, or not the mob, but the mod specific wrench for MFR is what's called the precision hammer, and this guy's pretty easy to make. It's just plastic and sticks, so it's nothing too crazy to build. And when I hold it, I get the outline of what the machine can touch, and so what we see here is that it actually looks like it needs to go out 2 more spaces. So if we look at our machine, all right, the grinder doesn't work like that. So I'm going to have to, if I want to cover this whole room, I'm actually going to have to do something different. I'm going to have to put grinders on all 4 sides of this room. I forgot that I can't upgrade the range of the grinder. If we look at the spawner, no, he doesn't have one either. But there are, most machines, a lot of the other machines in MFR will have these upgrades, which upgrades the radius that they can affect. But these don't have them. So, well, that's a bummer. Anyway, we could actually, you know what? I may just make conveyor belts. These guys. Extra utilities. So we saw these before, some tracks and some iron, and we can make ourselves a good deal of conveyor belts. And then what I'll do, for this room anyway, is that I will just drive all the mobs into that box, and once they're inside that box, they will get killed. So let me grab some of those real quick. Alright, and like that, we have ourselves a little spawn room here. So let's go ahead and knock out the lights. And I'll probably end up putting some torches in at some point in the future, or some redstone lights in the future. And because I like to kind of be able to see what's going on in there, we're going to put those in there, and that should give us a full, oh yeah, fully blacked out. The last thing I want to do here is, you see the hole on the back there? That's an item ejection point. So I need to put down something to catch the items that the mobs are going to generate. So let's just go ahead and grab, let's take and upgrade that to a gold chest. Why not? Put a gold chest down for now, and that should just do its thing. So we're going to let that run. Just going to let it run for a while. And hopefully it starts spawning us some mobs. We're just kind of hoping and praying at this point. And we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, while that's waiting to do its thing, I want to see if I can get something else done today. So let me get a few things ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have come to the Nether looking for things to kill. So I want to find Whither skeletons. I need their skulls. And for those of you who know... there's one. Ooh, there's another one. Hey there, buddy. Come here. So Whither skeletons, of course, they hit you, they give you withering, for one, which is unfortunate. But if I get 3 of their skulls, I can use them to spawn myself a wither, which is going to be a very useful, ouch, pay attention, it's going to be a very useful thing to do here. But I need to get a couple skulls in order to do it. And hopefully not die from these blazes. Fortunately, I'm fireproof. Or I should say fire resistant. I can't be started on fire, we'll say. So this might take a while because these guys are notoriously hard to find. Fortunately, I've got this fortress with this blaze spawner that, you know, I can camp at and just kind of wait for things to happen. So I'm going to probably spend some time doing that here. We're just going to wander around this fortress and wait for wither skeletons to spawn until I have 3 heads. So I will be back when I've accomplished that. Okay, I'm back at the base because I need to craft something. Specifically, I need to make something from tinkers. So I am making a pattern for a large blade. And I'm going to make that out of alumite. As we can see, it takes a lot of material to make. But this blade is going to be very nice. So if we look at it, does it tell us? It doesn't tell us anything. If we go over to our builder here, we are going to make what's called a cleaver, and the main reason because natural ability beheading. So what I'm finding is that the wither skeletons that I'm looking for don't have a very frequent spawn rate, and when I kill them, I've got a pretty low chance of getting a head from them. So I'm going to make a cleaver. It needs the large blade, which we have. It needs a large plate, and then it needs a couple of these tough tool rods, which I think I'll have to look at what I want to make them out of. But I think one of the materials is going to be cactus. Not really sure what the other one's going to be. So we've got the large blade. We need to go ahead and create our large plate, which is something like so. And like that, we have all the pieces we need. So let's see what that gives us. Reinforce gives us a plus 11 attack. Not terrible. We get 3 modifiers out of it. Yeah, my jagged bonus gives me 2 hearts of extra damage. So let's go ahead and name this guy what it's intended for. Beheading. And if we grab our books here, let's find our Materials in Volume 2, and we surf to the end. We should see that we can add some modifiers to these to actually increase the amount of chance of head drops. Somewhere, there it is. Ender Pearl, again, why I'm trying to spawn them, and Obsidian. Cool. I should have that. I have a few. Let's go ahead and take half of them. And let's up our beheading ability just at least a little bit. You know, not a huge amount. Okay, that gives us a chance to behead 40%. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, I'm going to put stuff away, and then I'm going to head back into the nether and hopefully find some more wither skeletons. Aha! There we go. This thing is working fantastic. I just had a bunch of skeletons spawn, and the sword worked admirably. So one thing to keep in mind when you're using the cleaver, it's so heavy it gives you mining fatigue, so you swing very slowly, but do a lot of damage, and in the process you remove their heads. Fantastic. So, cool. I've got wither skulls. I have 4. That is gonna do me well. So let's head back to the base and see what we can do with... Alright, back at the base. I did have a couple of wither skulls already from a previous hunting expedition. So I now have 2 withers that I can spawn. I have enough for 2. That is pretty darn cool. Let's go ahead and put the cleaver up there. We're not going to need it for a while. And first thing I want to look into is how much necrotic bone. So wither skeletons drop necrotic bone, and this is handy because I believe I've got some miniature hearts, and these I can use to make they're called heart canisters. Permanently increase my health. I just need a few of these, like 4, because I happen to have 4 hearts. A couple of these, which shouldn't be too hard to make. And like so. Cool. And so these, you just use the Tinker's screen, and like that, what you should notice in my heart bar there is now I'm getting little yellow hearts as an overlay, and those will actually fill all the way up to 10. But for right now, I think I'm going to get 4 more hearts, so I'll actually have 14 hearts of health instead of the normal 10. That's going to be pretty handy for what I have in store down the road. Let's go take a look at our mob spawner down here and see if we have collected any essence. I feel that we may have. Oh yeah, we are getting mob essence. That's cool. So that means that this room is doing its trick. It's generating mobs. Looks like we've even got a couple endermen in there. That is nice. I will take free ender pearls any day of the week. I'm plugging away with our power. Seems to be doing well. So, looking at the clock, I think we've got to wrap up the episode here. We've got this mob spawner. We're getting it juiced up right now. Once we've got a good stockpile of essence, I will go ahead and start spawning Endermen. For now, this is Woolrig. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.